I never thought I'd have to say this, but 3 people trespassed on my property and assaulted my wife over a fence hinge they claimed violated HOA standards. I called it none of their business. What got reinforced wasn't the fence. It was the line they never should have crossed. Let's dive into the chaos from the start. Picture this. You witness something so wrong, so violent, so close to home that your body shuts down, like your soul steps out for a break and doesn't return. That's what hit me the morning 2 HOA enforcers stormed our ranch gate, and one of them punched my wife, Sarah, in the face. I was 20 feet away, coffee in hand, frozen. It began with Sarah's voice, tight, controlled, like a fuse about to ignite. "You're not stepping on our land without a warrant," she said. I glanced up from the porch, half focused on a broken fence rail, my coffee gone cold. The sun wasn't even fully up. Then I saw them. 2 men in mirrored sunglasses, tactical polos too tight, smugness radiating like a badge. One held a clipboard, the other carried tension, shoulders forward, arms twitching like they were itching for a fight. "We're authorized to enforce code compliance," the shorter one barked, tapping his cheap badge like it meant something. Sarah snapped. "You're threatening us over a hinge?" Her boots were planted, hands on hips, hair tied back like she refused to show fear. The taller one stepped forward, gravel crunching under his boot. "Last warning, ma'am." Sarah didn't flinch. "Not resisting," she said. "Just disagreeing." Then he swung. No warning, no words, just a fist cracking across her cheek. The sound cut through the wind. Sarah's body twisted, hitting the gravel like her bones gave out. By the time I dropped my mug and ran, it was over. Blood smeared her lip, one eye blinking like it couldn't focus, gravel stuck to her scraped palm. She wasn't crying. That made it worse. "She got physical," the tall one said, voice flat. I responded with appropriate force. "Appropriate?" I echoed, quieter than I meant. My fists clenched, but my body locked up, chest tight, pulse roaring. I wanted to lunge, but my mind drifted to a memory. I was 8, standing on cold kitchen linoleum, the smell of burnt garlic in the air. My mother, back turned, trying to fix dinner before my father noticed. His voice dropped, the room heavy, a spoon hit the floor. She reached for it. Too slow. He didn't hit her, not then, but his look made me flinch. I stepped forward, said stop. He turned, calm as a prayer. "See what you made him do." I never spoke up again. Now, stronger, trained, armed, I was still frozen. Sarah sat up slow. "You saw that?" Her voice cracked, slicing me open. I nodded, unable to speak. "So why didn't you stop it?" Her words cut deeper than the punch. I had no answer. Silence was worse than the truth. Then, from across the road, "Hold on. Y'all need to punch up your bylaws, not people." It was my neighbor, Jack, a chaotic doomsday prepper, beekeeper, and drone pilot with a bunker he calls his hobby shack. Shirtless, binoculars in one hand, cereal bowl under his arm, he grinned. "Sarah, you good?" She gave a tiny nod. "Figured. You've always had a mean right hook, even with words." The men didn't flinch, just walked back to their side-by-side like they'd dropped off mail. Then came the SUV, dust rising, HOA sticker on the windshield like a warning. Out stepped Linda, a walking lawsuit in blonde perfection, unbothered. She scanned Sarah on the gravel, me motionless, and gave us a look like we were expired goods. "I assume you'll file a complaint. The board's email is in the newsletter. Check your spam." She tapped her phone, not waiting for a reply. "Had you fixed the fence violation, this could have been avoided." Jack muttered. "She makes a dictator look like a camp counselor." Then, louder, "I'll be on the police scanner in case she calls a drone strike." Linda drove off, leaving Sarah to stand, one arm across her ribs. I stepped forward. She flinched, just enough to gut me. She walked to the house, holding herself together, while I stood with an empty mug and shame that burned. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the porch, bourbon by my boot, knife in my lap, staring at the gravel where Sarah fell. Jack showed up at midnight, 2 beers, ham radio under his arm. "Tap their HOA comms," he said. "They're calling you non-compliant. Want to hear the codes?" I didn't speak. He sat, we drank. After a while, he said, "Sometimes it's not the punch that breaks you. It's the one you didn't block." He left. I sat until dawn, knife gripped tight, not for use, but for control. One question echoed. What happens when a protector waits too long? 2 days later, a hand-delivered HOA notice arrived via a nervous teen in a neon vest. Violation: unregistered livestock containment alteration. Fix the gate hinge or pay $275. Sarah read it, placed it down like it was fragile, and pressed an ice pack to her bruised jaw. I followed her into the kitchen, each step feeling like trespassing. Sarah, don't. She cut me off, voice final. She opened the silverware drawer, swapped forks, organized the spice rack, detached, like she'd paused being human. You hungry? I asked. I ate. I didn't see you eat. She stopped, looked through me. You didn't see a lot of things. That hit harder than any fist. That night, she moved to the guest room, door open like a warning. Linda posted an HOA update on Facebook. Operation Neighborhood Order. Daily patrols, citations for gate designs, lighting, even livestock tags. It wasn't about rules, it was control. The next morning, 2 new enforcers circled our property, clipboards in hand, smiling like we were neighbors. Checking setback compliance, one said. You're close to the limit. So are you, I replied. Jack called them HOA Gestapo, waving a ticket for his bunker's aesthetic obstruction. Only thing obstructing aesthetics is Linda's soul, he laughed. That night, I pored over every HOA notice in the barn, searching for a loophole. Sarah passed the window, arms crossed, not looking in. I found her on the couch, braiding her hair with bomb-disarming focus. I need to fix this, I said. She didn't look up. No, you need to decide who you are. Right now, I don't think you know. She turned the TV up 1 notch. Conversation over. The next morning, Jack pulled up in his camo golf cart, drone buzzing, holding a jug of kombusta. Half kombucha, half fuel. HOA doesn't regulate my colon yet, he grinned. I didn't laugh. You ever freeze? I asked. He paused, pointed to a dent in his truck. Ex-wife. Hammer, 2011. Missed my skull by inches. I ducked, but that half second where I wasn't sure what I'd do. It stays. He looked at me. You don't have to live in it. That night, I watched another patrol hover near our fence. One shined a flashlight across the gravel. I sat in the dark, hand clenched, the man who froze now joined by someone colder, waiting to step out. I thought I was building a case. I was building a line in the dirt, and they just crossed it. The wind felt wrong the next morning, still like before a storm. I was fixing the chicken coop when Jack waved frantically. HOA's declared psychological war. He held a hard drive like it was gold. In his bunker, canned food labeled crisis corn, a leaf blower flamethrower, and HOA violations like trophies. He showed me drone footage. Sarah at the gate, 2 enforcers, one muttering, use the wife. He'll snap. My fists clenched. That's Tom Reed, I said, the name bitter. We'd served together, same unit, same mess. In Afghanistan, he'd shot a woman and child, mistaking a pot lid for a weapon. I filed the report that ended his career. Now he was here, working for Linda. This was never about fences, Jack said. It was a trap. I nodded. They counted on me losing it. I drove to an empty road, the wind hitting me like it knew who I was before this. Every HOA fine, every patrol, it was bait, and I'd taken it. Back home, Sarah's door was closed. I wanted to confess about Tom, Afghanistan, how the ghosts followed me. But how do you admit you invited the danger? At sundown, I walked the fence line, no flashlight, just instinct. The horses were stiff, eyes wide. I found boot marks, a bent wire. Then a blow to my jaw spun me around. Tom stepped into view, smirking. Karen sends her regards. Another man, bigger, swung with brass knuckles. I ducked, grabbed a fence latch, and hit his thigh. Tom rushed me. We hit the dirt, fists flying. The big guy tackled me, but a memory flashed. Afghanistan, Tom's voice. They looked hostile. I twisted, stabbed a gate frame into the big guy's shoulder, and downed him. Tom ran. I caught him, fists pounding until blood coated my knuckles. Sarah appeared, pale, staring. That's not the man who didn't stop them, she said, then walked away. Tom coughed. You always break. I left him in the dirt, limping to the porch, hands trembling, not mine anymore. I stopped reacting and started planning. By sunrise, I mapped the ranch like a battlefield, tripwires, Jack's Frankencams, sensors. Jack brought a monitor, joking, It's more accurate the more paranoid you are. A black side-by-side rolled past, Tom in the passenger seat, bruised but smiling. Sarah watched from the porch, neutral, calculating if I was protecting us or preparing to be alone. I stocked the barn, water, fuel, radios, redundancies. Jack reinforced the door, saying, "Promise you're protecting someone, not rebuilding who you didn't want to be." Sarah found me laying out gear, knife, radio, boots with Afghan sand. "Fighting a war or surviving one?" she asked. "Ending one," I said. She left quietly. I raised a black cloth on the flagpole, a signal only some understand. Jack whistled, "That'll make people Google you." I shaved, bandaged wounds, and saw a man in the mirror who didn't hope for peace. He hunted it. They came at 4:37 p.m., Linda leading, Tom limping, a rookie twitching. "Mark, you're in violation," Linda said, tablet in hand. I waited, letting tension build. Tom's boot hit a gate post. Click. Chaos erupted. Wailing static from hidden speakers, a net trapping Tom, a bucket of fish oil and hot sauce dousing the rookie. Flash cans roared. Linda dropped to her knees. I stepped forward, boot on Tom's chest. "You crossed the line." Linda stammered. "This is illegal." So was punching my wife. They fled, humiliated. Sarah watched from the kitchen, unreadable. "You didn't freeze," she said. "But you didn't blink either." She closed the door, not slammed, just closed. I thought it was over. Wrong. At 6:12 a.m., Jack showed footage online. Me over Tom, no context, making me the villain. News called me Rancher Rambo. A $75,000 lawsuit arrived from a fancy firm. Sarah watched the replays, voice sharp. "Did you protect us or bait them?" She slammed the door, saying, "You scare me more than they do." A car watched from the road. I flashed my light. Jack flashed back. They were framing me. Time to take the script. I didn't ran online. I built a case with Jack's raw footage and sent it to Mia, Sarah's cousin, a ruthless attorney. She filed a countersuit: trespass, false impersonation, assault, defamation. In court, the judge watched 30 seconds of our footage and signed an injunction banning HOA enforcement. Linda resigned, sold her house, and vanished. Tom disappeared. The HOA crumbled. We reset the ranch, hung the flag, but it wasn't the same. That night, Sarah sat beside me on the porch, not close, just there. "Do you miss who you were?" she asked. "No. I became who I was meant to be." She didn't leave. I didn't need revenge. I needed clarity. They don't fear me because I fight. They fear me because I stopped fighting and still won. What do you think? Was I right to set the trap, or did I go too far? Share your thoughts below, especially on where the line is between protection and provocation in a relationship. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going. YouTube loves a good debate.